Hey lady, and welcome back to Etta Financial, where I am your financial unity coach as I help wives like you show up in their marital finances with grace and confidence. And we've been kind of doing a series on financial peace and what that means and how you can have it today, whether or not you are debt free or whether or not you've reached some sort of financial goal that you believe will bring you peace. And we have figured out over the last few videos. If you haven't watched those, I suggest you go back to those too. But today we're going to talk about how you can find peace in forgiveness. And it seems like a little backwards, like how can I give something when I don't have any peace? I don't have peace. How can I give somebody forgiveness in the middle of this? But I understand you've been betrayed either by your spouse or maybe somebody else in your past has created some scars or some hurts in your life, and you have those and you're carrying those around. I really suggest that you hang on with me, because there is freedom and peace found throughout this video. So I'm going to be looking down at my notes, down at scriptures. This is to keep you to have your most valuable I want you to have the most valuable time here. So I'm trying to keep myself on track. So if you're new here, that's why I'm looking down. So today we're talking about in the forgiveness. And there's a quote by Mike Bechtel. Oh, I should have really learned how to pronounce that before I started this video. I am not sure how to pronounce the name. Mike. Okay, so Mike said, people can't drive you crazy if you don't give them the keys. I know that's a lot easier said than done, especially when it's in your own household. I had someone tell me one time that you can only be offended when you care about what others say and do more than you care about what God says and does. And so that's why we went to scripture. That's why we went to prayer. That's why we were looking inside ourselves and digging into scripture to find that peace. But today, we're going to talk about forgiveness. And I know a lot of time that is kind of a bitter taste in your mouth. I mean, all over the New Testament, it says, forgive because you have been forgiven. It's all over the place. And that kind of feels condemning. That to me, it feels like, I've forgiven you, so you must forgive. No. Because when you read scripture, it's for your good. And so I'm just going to go to one, for example, here in Matthew 18:21-22. It says, then Peter came up and said to him, Lord, how often will my brother sin against me and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? And Jesus said to him, I do not say to you 7 times, but 77 times. When I read a scripture like that, that's kind of like, that hurts. That's uncomfortable. I don't like that. Add to the end of that, because it is good for you. Because Christ doesn't tell us to do anything. God doesn't tell us to do anything that is outside of goodness for you. So for your own good, forgive them 77 times. Okay, and in scripture, there is a lot of meaning behind numbers. And in Hebrew. In Hebrew, 7 means complete. So that doesn't mean that when he says forgive him 77 times, that you are going to take tallies and you're like, man, when 78 comes, because it's going to come. When you're married, you have to forgive somebody all the time. That doesn't mean that you're going to keep a tally over here and you're like, okay, I've forgiven you 77 times, dude. 78, that's the breaker. No, 7 means complete in Hebrew. So you have to give them complete and total forgiveness when you're in marriage with them. Okay, so how am I supposed to forgive him? I do not agree with what he's doing. I've been betrayed. I have been hurt. The thing that you have to understand about forgiveness is it's not agreeing with what they're doing. It's not saying that what they have done, what your husband has done, is right. It's not saying that you condone what he's doing. You are forgiving him. First, it may help to forgive him through prayer. You are in time with God and pray about forgiving him. Lord, help my unforgiveness, because I know that it's good for me to forgive my husband. Fill me and bring me this forgiveness. And then say, I am laying this offense at the cross. I'm laying this down. I'm giving it to you, God, because I can't carry it any longer. That unforgiveness is so heavy on your shoulders. And I encourage you to lay that down. And then after you do that, voice it to your husband. Tell him, confess to him first. Say, I have been holding this against you, and I am sorry. I am sorry I've held this against you for so long. I was really hurt, and I felt like if I wasn't going to forgive you, then maybe you wouldn't do it again. But I'm sorry for holding this against you and putting up that wall in our marriage. I'm sorry for doing that. And let him know. Say, I have chosen in my prayers, I have chosen that I'm going to forgive you. I have chosen to take that off, take that weight off, and I have given it to God, and I want you to know. I don't need you to do anything necessarily. If you want to, that's fine, but I don't need anything from you at this point. I just want you to know that I have forgiven you. And chances are he might do it again, but he might not. And the next time he may think about it. He knows now that it hurt you so badly, and you didn't come to him in a catty way. You didn't come to him in a way that was domineering to him. You came to him and humbly said, I have been holding this against you, and I'm sorry. And I am going to put this down at the foot of the cross, and I'm forgiving you. And you know what? He might say, well, I didn't ask for your forgiveness. So that's okay. I'm giving it to you anyways. Depending on what your situation is, there's lots of hurt that may be there. And if there is, I really seriously suggest that you see some sort of counseling, pursue that in some way if there is a lot of deep hurt and bad things that have really happened. I really suggest you going that route. I am in no way a certified counselor. I'm just here to try to help you get through these times in a way that is helpful to you in your finances. So if you are holding something and not forgiving, you're withholding that forgiveness, I pray for you that you can find a way to let go of those clenched fists and take that weight off your shoulders, honey, because it is hurting your scales. We don't want that. Take it off. You don't need it anymore. You have a blessed day.